everyone, welcome back to my class. So, today is the final session for teaching aptitude, wherein I'll cover all the uh, important topics that usually comes in your UGC NET, and all your teaching aptitude important topics will be covered. So, let's start coming to some of the additional models. Just give me a minute. Yeah. So there are some additional models in teaching aptitude. Number one is the TPAC model. These are some of the additional models that has been added in your syllabus from 2025 examination. So what does TPAC model signifies? T stands for technological, P stands for pedagogical, and CK stands for content knowledge. So T stands for technological, PA stands for pedagogical, and CK stands for content knowledge. It's a framework which was developed by Mishra and Kohler in 2006 that explains the type of knowledge teachers need to effectively integrate technology into teaching. So this is a kind of technology oriented model wherein it specifies or explains how the teacher needs to introduce technology into your curriculum. So coming to the TPAC model, there are three primary knowledge domains in TPAC model. Number one is the technological knowledge, number two is the pedagogical knowledge, and number third is the content knowledge. Okay, so what does content knowledge means? Content knowledge means what you are teaching, your subject area. Suppose mathematics, history, or science. That is your what you are teaching. A teacher is teaching. Number two is the pedagogical knowledge. That is how you are teaching, understanding teaching methods, classroom management, and student learning process. That is, you are using group discussion method, inquiry based learning, storytelling, demonstration method, project method. So pedagogical knowledge is how you are teaching. Coming to the third is the I'm so sorry, this will be content pedagogical, and this is technology. This is technology knowledge. By mistake, I have written. This is technology knowledge. That is tools you are using. What digital technologies you are using in your classroom in order to effectively deliver your content. That is knowing how to use smart boards, Google Classroom, or educational apps. So these are the three primary knowledge domains of TPAC model. Now coming to the integration, there are some other factors also, or other domains also. Suppose for technology and pedagogical, there is an interaction between the both, and there comes technological pedagogical knowledge. Then here, the interaction between technological and content, it is technological content knowledge, and the interaction between pedagogical and content, it is pedagogical content knowledge. And combination or integration of all the three domains comes to technological pedagogical content knowledge, that is TPAC. So this is known as TPAC model. You don't have to memorize anything in this, but you have to understand what are the three primary domains, basically what is the full form on TPAC and who introduced or developed TPAC. Coming to what in the pedagogy, andragogy, and heutagogy. So pedagogy means children learning. Andragogy means you are teaching adults, whereas heutagogy is self-determined. Coming to pedagogy, which means teacher is taking the sole role or sole sole responsibility of teaching, wherein the teacher is teaching the learners, providing the notes. It is basically a type of rote learning. Coming to andragogy, by andragogy means teaching adults. That is self-directed learning, wherein teacher is playing a role, but here it is a learner is also playing an equal role. That is, the interaction between the teacher and the learner takes place. Here, teacher is not solely responsible to take in order to influence, or in order to take learning, in order to understand or make students learn a certain topic. So here both learner and teacher is responsible for learning process. Coming to the heutagogy, it is a self-determined method, and basically it is also known as learner-centered method, wherein the learner is taking the sole responsibility of learning. For example, this is unidirectional. Pedagogy is unidirectional transfer of knowledge, information content, that is the information flow from teacher to the learners. Pedagogy, that is, remember, children is learning. Andragogy, it is bidirectional or multidimensional, that is both teacher and the learner is taking equal role of learning. Now comes the heutagogy. Here teacher is the learner, learner is the teacher. Now here learner is taking the sole responsibility of learning. So it is also known as learner centered method or self directed learning. Learner role in pedagogy is dependent. He is dependent on a teacher, whereas in andragogy it is self directed. That is, it is by It is by trans-directional, from teacher to learner, from learner to teacher. Whereas Hutagogy is full autonomous, that is learner takes the responsibility. Control of teaching, learning is on teacher. Here it is shared between the teacher and the learner. Here learner is responsible. Experience based, here limited experience based, rich life experience, and use of personal and network experiences. I hope this is making sense. You have understood what is pedagogy. Pedagogy is children learning. Andragogy is adult learning, whereas that is self-directed, whereas Hutagogy is self-determined learning. Coming to the PICRAT model, PICRAT model is a framework for technology integration in teaching and learning, which was developed by McLeod and Julby Grabe in 2019. It helps teachers analyze how students interact with technology and how technology transform learning. That is, how students interact with the technology, how they are understanding the technology. With the help of technology, what experience they are getting, what learning is their learning experience getting increased. So that is PICRAT model. So there are basically two dimension of pick rat model. Now, number one is pick and the second is rat. So the pick model is students use technology, whereas rat model is teachers use technology. So the rat dimension is teachers use of technology. Teacher is using the technology. So R stand for replacement. Replacement means technology substitute traditional tools. For example, we use digital PDF instead of printed handouts. This is replacement. Coming to A, amplification means improving the efficiency or effectiveness of traditional method. For example, here we are using PPT in order to explain you something instead of blackboard and the chalk. Coming to the next one is a transformation. Transformation means technology enables new learning experience that were previously impossible, using virtual reality to explore the solar system. So transforming means transferring from the previous era to a new era. So for example, now we are using the virtual reality, artificial intelligence. So the two dimensions of PIC-RAT model is, number one is the PIC and the second one is the RAT. The RAT dimension is the teacher's use of technology, where R stands for replacement, A stands for amplification, and T stands for transformation. Coming to the PIC dimension, PIC is the student's relationship with the technology, where P stands for passive, that is, students passively consume the knowledge or the subject area or information provided by the teacher. I stands for interactive, that is, there is an interactive session which students interact with technology but with structured limits, completing online quizzes or checking through a simulation. So, interacting with the technology. Suppose you are performing MCQ in laptop, through a portal. So that is interactive. Coming to C, C is the creative. Students create new content or idea using a technology. So here they are doing brainstorming by using a technology. They are creating new contents and generating new ideas. So this is PICRAT model. Now this is one of the important topic in UGC net, that is effective teaching methods behavior. There are two types of key behaviors in effective teaching. Number one is the key behavior and number two is the helpful behavior. You just have to understand, note down the point. This will only be asked in your exam. So coming, they can ask you what are the key behaviors in effective teaching, or they can ask what are the helpful behaviors in key teaching, effective teaching. So in key behaviors, some of the effective teaching methods are, number one is lesson clarity. The lesson clarity provided by the teacher should be clear. Instructional variety. There should be different varieties, like the teacher is using a visual PPT, or they are giving an example, or taking you on excursion in order to give you, understand a particular topic. Teacher task orientation, then engagement in learning process, wherein student and teacher both are interacting with each other in order to learn a certain thing. Student success rate. Coming to the helpful behavior, using students ideas and contribution, which means here student is also contributing in the learning process. Structuring, questioning, teacher is questioning the student, wherein student is answering. So contribution is done by the student. Also probing, that is, teacher is encouraging or giving hints to the student, so that student can, with the help of that hints, he can answer a particular thing that will help in a better learning, teaching learning process. Teach and teacher effect, that is teacher learner relationship. So these are some of the key and their helpful behavior. I've given a explanation over here also. Key behavior, lesson clarity, explaining content clearly and logically. Instructional variety, using multiple methods to maintain interest. Task orientation, staying focused on lesson goals. Engagement means involving students in learning, and student success rate means achievable tasks for higher success. Coming to the helpful behavior, using students' ideas, that is accepting and building on students' inputs. questioning and structuring, organizing lessons and asking thought-provoking question, probing for clarity, that is encouraging detailed explanation, and teacher effect, that is showing positivity, warmth and enthusiasm to the learners. So these are some of the key and the helpful behavior for effective teaching. Now coming to the memory, there are two type of memory: short-term memory and long-term memory. For short-term memory, that you remember for a short period of time, whereas long-term memory, there are two types of long-term memory. Number one is the explicit and number two is the implicit. Explicit means that is in your conscious mind, whereas implicit means that is that you remember unconsciously. Now if someone asks you what is your name, you remember it unconsciously, right? That is implicit. Now coming to the explicit memory, there are two types of explicit memory. Number one is the episodic, that means events that happen to you. Suppose in the past, if you have some past experience, you have experienced something, so that is something you will remember according to your experience, according to the events that happened to you. So that is known as episode. Episode means the events or the experience that you have gained. Coming to the explicit second type, that is semantic. That is the general knowledge of the world. If someone asks you who is the Prime Minister of India, so you will be able to answer that. So that is general based question. That is semantic memory. Coming to the implicit, number one is, let me explain you first, procedural. Procedural means example. What is procedural? It is related to motor, that is your skills that you are learning. Suppose for example, riding a bicycle or typing on a keyboard, that is your skill. Store skills and action, often motor activities, that is procedural, that is related to your skills. Whereas priming means exposure to one stimuli influences the response to others. Seeing the word yellow, suppose if I tell you word yellow, then what do you remember with the word yellow? Suppose you remember a banana, okay, or a dress, yellow dress, that is priming, which means exposure to a one stimuli, which is, I have told you, yellow is one stimuli, and you are able to and I'm able to influence the another one, that is you remember with the word yellow banana or a yellow dress, that is priming. That is implicit memory, or known as, also known as non-declarative memory.